coffee, manga, and a carnival call. The aroma of burnt sugar and something vaguely floral clung to the air as Leo navigated his tiny kitchen. He was attempting to make his usual morning coffee, a ritual designed to ease him into the day, when disaster struck. A rogue elbow, aimed for the sugar bowl, connected instead with a stack of manga precariously balanced on the counter. Volumes cascaded down, a colorful avalanche ending with a splash as Leo's freshly brewed coffee upended, soaking the top volume of Princess Night. "No, no, no," he muttered, frantically grabbing a dish towel and dabbing at the spreading stain. The inky blackness of the coffee contrasted starkly against the delicate watercolor cover. He sighed. Just another Tuesday. A loud knock echoed through his apartment, startling him. He nearly tripped over a rogue manga volume in his haste to answer the door. Clara stood in the hallway, radiating energy like a miniature sun. Her blonde hair was pulled back in a high ponytail, and she was wearing a paint-splattered denim jacket over a bright yellow t-shirt. "Leo. Good morning." Or, judging by the smell of burnt coffee, maybe not so good. He blushed, acutely aware of the coffee stain blooming on his own gray t-shirt. "Morning, Clara. Just a little accident." He gestured weakly towards the open door, revealing the manga carnage. Clara's eyes widened. "Oh dear. Are those manga?" She stepped inside without waiting for an invitation, her gaze sweeping over the scattered books. "You read manga? That's amazing. You never mentioned it." Leo shuffled his feet, feeling his cheeks burn hotter. He wasn't exactly broadcasting his hobbies. "Yeah, well, it's nothing special." Clara ignored his self-deprecation. "Listen, I was wondering, there's this cosplay carnival happening this weekend at the community center. It's going to be huge. And, well, I was thinking you might want to come with me." Her eyes sparkled with an enthusiasm that was almost overwhelming. "I'm going as Captain Harlock. I've been working on the costume for weeks." Leo's mind blanked. The cosplay carnival. A throng of costumed strangers. The idea filled him with a mixture of terror and something else. Something that felt a lot like excitement. He imagined Clara, radiant and confident, as Captain Harlock. The image was captivating. I don't know, Clara," he stammered, fiddling with the hem of his stained shirt. "I'm not really a cosplay person." "Nonsense," Clara declared, her voice full of playful authority. "You read manga. That's halfway there. Besides, it'll be fun. Think of the people watching. And the food. They're supposed to have amazing takoyaki." She paused, her expression softening. "Anne. I'd really like you to come. It's always more fun with a friend." A friend. The word hung in the air, imbued with a significance that made Leo's heart flutter. He wanted to be more than a friend, though he knew he didn't have the courage to tell her. He looked at her, at the genuine warmth in her eyes, and a flicker of something daring ignited within him. He imagined spending the day with her, surrounded by colorful costumes and the infectious energy of the carnival. He pictured Clara laughing, sharing takoyaki, and maybe, just maybe, noticing him. "Okay," he said, the word barely a whisper. "Okay, I'll go." Clara squealed with delight, clapping her hands. "Yes. This is going to be epic. I'll pick you up Saturday morning around 10. We can grab coffee on the way." She grinned, her eyes twinkling. "And maybe, just maybe, we can find you a costume." Leo swallowed hard. A costume? That was a whole new level of terrifying. But as Clara bounced out the door, leaving a trail of sunshine in her wake, he couldn't help but smile. Maybe, just maybe, this weekend wouldn't be just another Tuesday after all. He had a feeling his life was about to get a whole lot more colorful. He glanced down at the coffee-stained Princess Night. He really needed to clean that up. Becoming the warrior princess. Clara's apartment was a whirlwind of glitter, fabric scraps, and half-finished props. Music pulsed from a hidden speaker, some kind of energetic synth-pop that vibrated through Leo's teeth. He stood awkwardly near the door, clutching the single red rose he'd bought that morning. It felt pathetic compared to the organized chaos around him. "Almost ready," Clara shouted from behind a shimmering curtain strung across the corner of the room. Her voice was muffled but laced with excitement. "Just need a hand with the pauldron straps." Leo edged closer, nearly tripping over a discarded foam sword. He cleared his throat. Right. Straps. Where are they?" The curtain swished open, and Leo's jaw dropped. Clara was barely recognizable. Gone was the girl next door in jeans and a t-shirt. In her place stood a warrior princess, clad in intricately crafted leather armor, adorned with glowing LED lights that pulsed in time with the music. A circlet rested on her brow, its central gem flashing with an inner fire. The pauldron, a massive piece of sculpted metal, sat precariously on her shoulder. "These blasted things," she grumbled, gesturing to the thin leather straps dangling from the pauldron. "Maya designed them, bless her heart, but she forgot I have the upper body strength of a particularly athletic kitten." He found his voice. "Maya made this? It's incredible." Clara grinned, the effect dazzling under the flashing lights. "She's a genius. Wait till you see her own costume. Now, hold this up, will you?" She nudged the pauldron towards him. As he steadied the cold metal, Clara expertly fastened the straps. He caught a whiff of her perfume, a complex blend of vanilla and something earthy, like rain on stone. Up close, he could see the intricate detail of the armor, the tiny rivets, the carefully painted battle scars. A thrill, both exhilarating and terrifying, shot through him. He felt utterly, hopelessly out of his depth. His jeans and t-shirt suddenly felt like a profound personal failing. "There." Clara stepped back, striking a heroic pose. Warrior Princess Electra, ready for action. She wiggled her eyebrows. "What do you think?" Leo swallowed. "Amazing. Seriously. You look fierce." Maya appeared in the doorway, leaning against the frame with a sardonic smile. She wore a practical jumpsuit, smeared with paint and glue. "He looks like he's about to faint." "Ease up, Clara." Clara deflated slightly. "Sorry, Leo. Didn't mean to overwhelm you. It's just, I get a little carried away." Maya pushed herself upright. "Speaking of carried away, are we going to stand around admiring ourselves all night, or are we actually going to that carnival?" She glanced at Leo, her gaze sharp and assessing. "You scrub up okay, Nakamura. Don't let her intimidate you." With a final flourish, Clara grabbed a glowing sword from the corner, its blade humming with power. "Electra awaits. To the carnival. Carnival chaos." The air vibrated with a frenetic energy that tickled Leo's skin. He followed Clara through the entrance archway, a monstrosity constructed from foam swords and shimmering streamers, and into the heart of the cosplay carnival. A kaleidoscope of color assaulted his senses, neon wigs, sequined armor, and gravity-defying hairstyles. The mingled scents of hot dogs, cotton candy, and industrial-strength hairspray hung heavy in the air. He tugged nervously at the collar of his simple, store-bought Jedi tunic, feeling utterly out of place amidst the extravagant creations surrounding him. Clara, however, was in her element. She beamed, her steampunk Valkyrie costume catching the light with its intricate gears and repurposed clockwork. "Isn't this amazing, Leo?" she shouted over the din, her voice bubbly with excitement. "I've been working on this costume for months." She twirled, her bronze wings rustling softly. Leo managed a weak smile. He was more of an observer than a participant, content to watch Clara shine. They navigated through the throngs of attendees, a bizarre mix of anime characters, comic book heroes, and original creations. Clara paused frequently, striking poses for photographs with eager fans. As they approached the main stage, where the costume competition was about to begin, Leo noticed a figure lurking near the edge of the crowd. It was Jean-Luc Dubois, resplendent in a flawlessly crafted, cyberpunk samurai outfit. His katana gleamed under the harsh stage lights. Jean-Luc's eyes, however, were not on the stage. They were fixed on Clara, and there was something sharp and calculating in his gaze. Leo shivered, a prickle of unease crawling up his spine. He'd heard whispers about Jean-Luc's competitive nature, his almost obsessive desire to win every competition. Jean-Luc raised a hand in a casual wave as Clara spotted him. "Clara, my dear. Looking interesting." The last word dripped with a veiled sarcasm that Leo picked up on immediately. Clara, oblivious or perhaps choosing to ignore the barb, returned the greeting with a bright smile. "Jean-Luc. Your costume is incredible as always. Ready to be dethroned?" She laughed, a genuine, carefree sound. Jean-Luc's smile didn't quite reach his eyes. "We shall see, Clara. We shall see." He gestured towards a small, unattended table nearby, littered with stray wires and discarded fabric scraps. "Just tidying up a bit. Wouldn't want anyone to trip and ruin their grand entrance, would we?" He gave a pointed look at the elaborate wings on Clara's back. Leo's unease intensified. He saw Jean-Luc subtly nudge a spool of thread with his foot, positioning it directly in Clara's path to the stage. It seemed innocuous, almost accidental, but Leo couldn't shake the feeling that it was deliberate. He opened his mouth to warn Clara, but she was already moving, captivated by a group of cosplayers dressed as characters from her favorite video game. Leo hesitated, unsure if he was overreacting. Was Jean-Luc really capable of such petty sabotage? Or was he just being paranoid? The announcer's voice boomed over the speakers. "And now, please welcome to the stage, the magnificent Clara Moreau, as her steampunk Valkyrie." Clara, wings spread wide, began her walk towards the stage. The spool of thread lay directly in her path. A heroic intervention. Clara took the stage, the spotlight catching the sequins of her painstakingly crafted magical girl costume. A wave of pure joy washed over her as the music swelled, a J-pop anthem she'd chosen specifically for its high energy and infectious rhythm. She launched into her routine, a flurry of spins, leaps, and perfectly timed poses, each movement radiating confidence and charm. The crowd, initially hesitant, started to clap along, drawn in by her infectious enthusiasm. Leo, hidden at the back of the auditorium, felt a warmth bloom in his chest. She was incredible. Then, disaster struck. Mid-leap, the intricate bow at the back of Clara's costume, the centerpiece of her magical transformation, inexplicably detached. It wasn't a clean break, the thread seemed deliberately snipped. The bow, heavy with embedded lights, swung wildly, tangling around her legs. She stumbled, losing her balance, the bright lights of the bow momentarily blinding her. A collective gasp rippled through the audience. Jean-Luc, standing near the judges' table, offered a practiced look of concern, but Leo caught a flicker of something else in his eyes, something cold and satisfied. Clara, ever the professional, recovered quickly, but the damage was done. The momentum of her routine was shattered. She tried to salvage it, adjusting her movements, but the dangling bow was a constant distraction. Her smile, though still present, seemed strained. Leo's mind raced. He knew that bow was crucial to her performance, the symbol of her character's magical power. Seeing her struggle ignited a fierce protectiveness within him, an unfamiliar surge of adrenaline. He couldn't just stand there. His gaze darted around the auditorium, searching for a solution. His eyes landed on the thick velvet curtains flanking the stage. Then, an image flashed through his mind, a scene from his favorite manga, a ninja using his cloak to create a diversion. An idea, audacious and improbable, sparked in his brain. Without a second thought, he pushed through the crowd, ignoring the confused murmurs and annoyed glances. He reached the stage, scrambling up the steps, his heart pounding in his chest. "Clara," he called out, his voice surprisingly steady. "Your magical energy is unstable. You need to contain it." Clara, momentarily stunned, looked at him with wide eyes. He saw a flicker of confusion, then a spark of understanding. She knew him well enough to trust he wasn't insane. Leo grabbed one of the heavy curtains, ripping it free from its moorings. The sudden tearing sound drew everyone's attention. He draped the curtain over Clara, enveloping her in the thick velvet. "Concentrate," he yelled, his voice echoing slightly in the sudden hush. "Focus your energy on transforming the barrier." He then dropped to his knees, mimicking a power-up sequence from a classic magical girl anime, complete with exaggerated gestures and muttered incantations. He knew it was ridiculous, utterly embarrassing, but he was committed. He had to buy her time. Underneath the curtain, Clara, understanding dawning, worked quickly. She ripped the tangled bough free, discarding it behind the curtain. Using hidden snaps and Velcro, she secured the velvet curtain around her, transforming it into a makeshift cape. When she emerged, the crowd erupted. The velvet cape, coupled with Leo's bizarre performance, had somehow turned the disaster into a dramatic transformation sequence. Clara, revitalized, launched back into her routine, the cape adding a new layer of dynamism to her movements. This time, her smile was genuine, brighter than ever. Victory and jealousy. The announcer's voice boomed, echoing through the convention hall. And the winner of the grand prize, with her breathtaking and meticulously crafted Valkyrie armor, is Clara Moreau. A roar erupted from the crowd. Confetti rained down, shimmering under the harsh fluorescent lights. Clara gasped, her hand flying to her mouth. Leo, standing near the stage, felt a surge of pride so potent it almost knocked him off balance. He clapped harder than anyone, a goofy grin plastered on his face. Clara bounded onto the stage, her Valkyrie wings, made of some impossibly lightweight material, fluttering slightly with each step. She accepted the oversized check and a bouquet of vibrant, artificial roses with a radiant smile. Leo watched, captivated. She looked like she belonged there, bathed in the spotlight, a genuine star. After the obligatory photos and thank yous, Clara finally made her way down from the stage, the crowd parting for her like the Red Sea. She spotted Leo and her face lit up even brighter. "Leo! I can't believe it. I actually won." She threw her arms around him, the impact surprisingly strong. He inhaled the faint scent of ozone and metallic paint clinging to her costume. "You were amazing, Clara," he stammered, his cheeks burning. "Absolutely incredible. The detail, everything." Before Clara could reply, a smooth voice cut through the celebratory din, "Magnifique. Clara, my congratulations. Truly a deserving victory." Jean-Luc stepped forward, his smile sharp and somehow, predatory. Clara turned, her own smile dimming slightly. "Jean-Luc. Thanks." He took her hand, holding it a beat too long. "Your craftsmanship is inspiring. Perhaps you would be willing to share some of your techniques with a fellow artisan?" His eyes, dark and intense, held hers captive. Leo shifted uncomfortably. He noticed Jean-Luc's grip on Clara's hand, the way his gaze lingered a little too long. He felt a knot forming in his stomach. "Maybe sometime," Clara said, gently extracting her hand. "I'm still a bit overwhelmed." Jean-Luc chuckled, a low, rumbling sound. Of course. I wouldn't want to intrude on your celebration. Perhaps later, we could discuss collaborations. I have some very interesting projects in mind." He winked. Leo coughed, suddenly feeling very small and insignificant. He was just Leo, the guy who helped carry the boxes. Jean-Luc, on the other hand, was a renowned prop maker, oozing charisma and confidence. Clara laughed, a forced sound. "I'll keep that in mind, Jean-Luc. Now, if you'll excuse us, she turned back to Leo, looping her arm through his. "Let's get out of here. I need a celebratory crepe." As they walked away, Leo glanced back. Jean-Luc was still watching them, a subtle smirk playing on his lips. The knot in Leo's stomach tightened. He couldn't shake the feeling that Jean-Luc wasn't just congratulating Clara, he was marking his territory. And Leo, with his clumsy charm and quiet admiration, was clearly no match. The lonely walk home. The gaudy illumination of the prize stage singed Leo with the heat of his own shortcomings. Bathed in the strobe light frenzy, Clara hoisted the enormous stuffed animal, a beacon of her triumph. Beside her, Jean-Luc presented a champagne flute, conjured seemingly from thin air on a polished tray. They were a vision, a perfectly orchestrated tableau of success. Leo squirmed, the greasy cardboard shard from his half-eaten corn dog pressing into his skin. He'd witnessed Clara's victory, her initial surprise melting into peals of bright amusement. Jean-Luc, predictably suave, had been right there, delivering a flawlessly timed compliment and brandishing that infernal bubbly. In his mind, Leo had been up there, sharing that electric moment, a dopey grin splitting his face as Clara's fingers brushed his during the award. Instead, he was just, present. A bystander, an unscripted face in their shared narrative. The music surged, a saccharine synth-pop anthem that underscored his misery. He couldn't stand another second. Whipping around, the corn dog tumbled to the ground, lost in the carnival's vibrant roar. No one noticed his departure. No one cared enough. Though the midway pulsed with vibrant hues and clamorous voices, as he retreated, the sounds diminished, replaced by a hollow resonance within his chest. He skirted past the soothsayer's tent, its neon sign stuttering, and slipped onto the quiet side street offering escape from the fairgrounds. The air here possessed a bracing chill, carrying the scent of damp soil, a stark contrast to the sugary perfume of fried dough. He thrust his hands into his pockets, the thin lining of his borrowed jacket providing scant comfort. He didn't spare a backward glance. Each footfall felt burdened, weighed by disappointment's gravity. He'd anticipated this night, inflated its potential. A chance to finally escape his routine, to forge a link with someone. With Clara. He'd even indulged in a ridiculous daydream, picturing himself winning her over with a dazzling display of wit. Reality, invariably, proved harsher. "Perhaps I'm simply not equipped for this," a familiar, self-berating voice whispered. "Maybe books and code are my only safe haven. At least computers offer no judgment." He nudged a stray pebble down the pavement, the tiny sound dissolving into the night's vastness. He replayed the evening's events, seeking clues that he'd misinterpreted the signals. What he unearthed were only fumbled opportunities, awkward pauses, and the undeniable connection between Clara and Jean-Luc. The trek home stretched endlessly before him, a lonely vista. He imagined Clara and Jean-Luc still reveling in the carnival's glow, their laughter echoing on the warm night air. The thought left a bitter taste. He quickened his stride, craving the solitary sanctuary of his room. The carnival's luminescence dwindled in the distance, abandoning him to the encroaching darkness, accompanied only by the echo of his own letdown. Chasing the truth. The popping of camera flashes finally ceased. Dazed, Clara offered a wan smile to the mayor, whose handshake threatened to wrench her arm from its socket. The velvet rope, a flimsy barrier, strained against the enthusiastic surge of admirers, press, and rubberneckers. It was overwhelming, intoxicating, yet isolating. Her gaze swept the multitude, seeking Leo's familiar stoop. He'd been right beside her moments before, his expression alight with wonder as she claimed the grand prize. Now, a void. Only unfamiliar faces swam before her. A cold spike of panic shot through her. Where had he gone? Lost in the throng? Or, abandoned her? "Clara, my dear." Champagne. Jean-Luc materialized, his grin too broad, too knowing. He proffered a flute, the effervescent bubbles seeming to taunt her in the sunlight. "No, thank you, Jean-Luc," she replied, her tone sharper than intended. Have you seen Leo? Leo Nakamura. His smile flickered, a momentary lapse. Nakamura. I thought I spotted him heading toward the Ferris wheel. Claimed a sudden headache. Clara's eyes narrowed. She didn't buy it. There was a subtle smirk playing on his lips, a quiet victory that rubbed her the wrong way. Did you say something to him, Jean-Luc? He feigned innocence, palms upturned. Me? Whatever would I say? I simply offered congratulations on your triumph. Perhaps he felt outshone. The insinuation stung, but she refused to betray her reaction. You're lying. And whatever you said, it made him uncomfortable. Just, leave him be. She brushed past him, the champagne flute nearly spilling onto his hand. The carnival was a riot of clamor and hues. The carousel's whimsical music warbled, vying for attention with the barker's alluring pitches and the joyous screams emanating from the roller coaster. The aroma, a dense mixture of sugary treats, felt stifling. She gravitated toward the Ferris wheel, its metallic skeleton etching itself against the afternoon sky. Each cabin, a little haven of merriment, oblivious to the tempest within her. Her eyes darted over the waiting line, faces blurred by her mounting anxiety. He wasn't there. Leo, she cried, her voice consumed by the surrounding din. She tried again, louder now, shaping her hands into a megaphone. Leo. A few heads swiveled, curious, but none registered recognition. Desperation tightened its grip. She had to find him. Had to explain everything. Had to confess everything. She surged forward, slicing through the crush, ignoring the bumps and muttered curses. She scoured the food stands, the game booths, even the dubious fortune teller's tent, veiled in purple drapes. Each empty space only deepened her dread. He couldn't simply vanish. Not now. Not when she was finally ready to acknowledge, if only to herself, that the true reward wasn't the trophy, but the quiet, self-effacing man who saw something within her that no one else did. Confessions under carnival lights. The Ferris wheel's gaudy luminance smeared across the carnival like spilled paint, a dizzying spectacle of color mirroring the nervous flutter in Clara's stomach. The jumbo plush unicorn, a ludicrous trophy from her lucky toss, felt cumbersome in her arms as she scanned the crowd. Where was he? Jean-Luc's suffocating embrace and buzzing platitudes had sent her reeling. She'd shaken him off, an urgency to find Leo consuming her, only to find him gone. Had Jean-Luc's words truly hit home? Had he bailed? A knot tightened in her chest. She navigated past a gaggle of giggling girls in vibrant magical girl attire, their toy wands blinking like miniature rainbows, and finally saw him near the ring toss. He was slumped against the faux wood backdrop, shoulders bowed, bathed in the pulsating red and blue of the carnival lights. Leo. Her voice caught, cracking on his name. He turned, his face a canvas of unexpected weariness. Clara, he murmured, his voice subdued. Congrats. She hurried to him, letting the unicorn tumble to the ground with a muffled thump. Stop it. Just, stop. Confusion clouded his features. Stop what? Stop acting like you're leaving, she choked out, the words a painful rasp. Because of Jean-Luc. Leo averted his gaze, his jaw clenched tight. He didn't exactly hide his interest. Ugh, that's just Jean-Luc. He's always like that, she said, exasperation coloring her tone. He'd flirt with a lamppost. It means nothing. I've known him since kindergarten. He's like a really annoying big brother. She took a step closer, the sweet, cloying scent of popcorn and cotton candy heavy in the air. I needed you to know that. And that these last couple of weeks, they've been the best, because of you. All the cosplays, that little cafe, even this ridiculous spectacle, it's all been amazing. Her fingers grazed his forearm. All you. Finally, Leo's eyes met hers, searching, questioning. Clara. I like you, Leo, she blurted, the words rushing forth. More than a friend. So much more. A slow smile blossomed across his face, erasing the shadows. You have no idea how long I've been dying to hear you say that. He reached out, his fingertips tracing the delicate line of her cheek. I thought. I convinced myself I was imagining things. That someone like you would never. Someone like me. Clara echoed, her heart hammering against her ribs. And what's that supposed to mean? He chuckled, a warm, genuine sound that sent shivers down her spine. Someone amazing, funny, talented, and way out of my reach. She leaned into his touch, the cacophony of the carnival fading into a distant drone. You're an idiot, Leo Nakamura. A grin lit his face, his eyes sparkling with reflected light. Guilty. But I'm your idiot. He dipped his head, his breath a warm promise against her skin. Could I kiss you? Clara offered no verbal reply. She simply closed the remaining space between them. The kiss began tentatively, a cautious exploration, then deepened rapidly, fueled by weeks of suppressed emotions. The sugary taste of cotton candy and burgeoning anticipation lingered on her lips. The world shrank, focusing solely on them, two figures silhouetted against the swirling brilliance of the carnival, finally acknowledging the feelings that had been bubbling just beneath the surface. A year of cosplay and love. The echo of the grand prize ceremony, Clara clutching that enormous check, a stunned grin plastered on her face, felt both like yesterday and a lifetime ago. Leo had simply vanished, as if swallowed by the pre-dawn fog blanketing the bayou. Jean-Luc's mumble about Leo's aversion to fanfare, his restless spirit proving stronger than any accolade, rang hollow to Clara. The weeks that followed swam by in a haze of obligatory interviews and awkward backpats. She forced smiles, murmured thank yous until they lost all meaning, and then escaped to the sanctuary of her quiet apartment, the silence a constant reminder of Leo's desertion. Gradually, however, life's current began to pull her back. The winnings became the key to unlock her long-held ambition, a small boutique showcasing her unique creations. She immersed herself in the hunt for exquisite fabrics, the feverish sketching of designs, and the Byzantine process of permits and licenses. Then, one bright afternoon, while excavating a box of old mementos, she unearthed it, a faded snapshot of Leo, a mischievous glint in his eye, decked out in a steampunk aviator getup. A jolt of energy surged through her. Though physically absent, their shared passion endured. The subsequent year unfolded as a blur of artistic exploration intertwined with quiet longing. Snippets of shared history played like a film reel in her mind, intense, late-night design sessions fueled by endless cups of coffee, their hilariously inept attempts at ballroom dancing in her cramped apartment, the comfortable, companionable quiet as they stitched side by side, their uproarious laughter at a particularly misshapen dragon sculpture. She began crafting a costume, not for competition, but as a personal expression. And then, almost without conscious thought, she envisioned another, a complementary design, blending her fantastical leanings with his mechanical obsessions. A few weeks before the next carnival, a substantial package appeared. Inside, cradled within layers of protective paper, lay a pair of exquisitely rendered goggles, brass and leather gleaming with meticulous detail. A small note was tucked beneath, to see the world with fresh eyes. Her pulse quickened. He remembered her. Carnival day arrived bathed in sunshine. Clara, transformed into a woodland fairy queen, her gown a living mosaic of emerald and gold, fidgeted with her elaborate floral headpiece. She took a deep breath and ventured outside. There he stood. Leo, beside his radically altered motorcycle, now a magnificent clockwork automaton. Gears whispered, and faint plumes of steam escaped from hidden valves. He looked up, smile lines deepening around his eyes. Ready to make an impression, he inquired, offering a hand encased in gleaming metal. The throngs parted before them as cheers erupted. It's our champion, someone yelled. And her knight-errant. The very air thrummed with anticipation. Jean-Luc offered a knowing wink from his post at the refreshment stand. They strolled forward, hand in hand, their attire a vibrant testament to their shared creativity and affection. No longer simply Clara, the gifted designer, and Leo, the enigmatic traveler, they were now a legend in the making, their tale already circulating in hushed tones around the bayou's crackling fires. As dusk painted the sky in vibrant shades of coral and lavender, Clara realized, with unwavering conviction, that their grand adventure was just beginning.